All right, hi everybody. I am live on both. Um, I really like this setup and I'm going to try to keep doing it this way, I hope. I am on my laptop here on Facebook, and then up here I have my YouTube attached to my laptop, so I'm looking at the same thing at the same time. Okay, so that's what we're trying. And had a very stressful week. This week has been super, super hard. So that's why I'm late. And we're going to try to do some arts and crafts. So for this first craft, you need a straw or a stick, or this is a straw from the Black Rabbit. And I'm going to use the right mouse for the right computer because that's helpful. And we are going to talk about Imbolc. There's like 6 different ways to say it. It's otherwise known as Bridget's Day or St. Bridget's Day. It is celebrated February 1st, and it marks the beginning of spring. It is the first of the fertility festivals. It is halfway between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. It's observed throughout Ireland, Scotland, the Isle of Man. However, it was Christianized and became the Feast of St. Bridget or Candlemas. And it's really, really super popular in Mexico, which is where a lot of these current arts and crafts that I'm going to do come from. So there you go. Originally, it is the festival of the goddess Brigid, who is the goddess of the hearth and the home and marriages and the transition between maiden to mother. So Brigid, you would make wonderful things called the St. Bridget Cross or the Brigid's Cross, or the Eye of St. Bridget. There's a bunch of them. That's what we're going to start with. Okay. So you take the straw. Okay. And then you take, this is Raffina. Okay. Now, I was hoping to get some pipe cleaners, but I couldn't find any. But I've seen the traditional stuff is actually made with this, so I'm going to try it. These are super long. So I did get these at the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to fold it in half, so it's only this long, okay? It's about shoulder width for those keeping track. Not that I've seen anybody on my stream yet today. I don't have anybody on YouTube. And I don't have anybody here yet, so that's fine. But I'm going to keep going, and you guys can catch up, I hope. Okay, so you take your straw. Take your straw, and you take this, and you hold it right in the middle, and you just hold it, okay? We're not going to tie it or do anything like that. We're just going to hold it like this. And then we're going to rotate it once to the left. So it sits up like this, okay? Then we're going to take the next color, because I have different colors. We're going to fold this in half, so it's your width, okay? Which is pretty easy, because this stuff actually came folded. Then we're going to fold it in half around here, making it super tight. So it's like this. And we're going to fold it to the left. So it's like that. Then we're going to take the third color. I wish I had a third set of hands. Or just a third hand, really. That would be super helpful to me. If If you hear clicking in the background, it is because my house is active 24/7 and there are people in it today. Okay, so I did that. Then I rotated it to the left again. These aren't even. Not that it matters, so I'm going to tie them off and cut them. So these will be a knot like right here. So this end here that's not even is not going to matter a whole lot. But okay. Then you fold in half again and wrap around this spot. You have a nice cross forming. You turn to the left again. Now I'm pulling the colors at random. I grabbed approximately 9 strings out. So I'm just going to go until I'm done. Ideally, I would have little tiny plastic bands or elastic bands, and they would do this, help me hold. But I know traditionally that's not how it worked. So I'm kind of trying to do this super traditional. This band leaves something to be desired. Let's pick a new one. I said one. Okay. So St. Bridget's cross. Little girls would make them, and little boys would make something else called straw boys. And you would parade them from house to house, and you would like take these and you would leave them in the door frame of who, or the window frame of people you would want to be attracted to you and maybe court you.
What are you doing?
I'm live streaming.
No, like, what are you doing?
I'm making a fertility doll. Well, it's not really a fertility doll. This will not make you fertile. Please know that. That's not a thing. Ideally, the bright colors would tell Saint Bridget, the goddess of hearth and home, that you wanted a visit. And so you would make these, and you and your friends would parade them around, and you would leave them in the doorway or the window of somebody you were attracted to, and that person would get a visit from the goddess. And she would leave messages in their dreams about you, ideally.
Oh.
And it's kind of a matchmaking thing. And if you were a young bride and you wanted children, then you would hang these symbols over something like eggs or milk that would be set out for the fairies or the gods or Bridget or, however you believe. And then you would get visited and your child would be blessed, your womb would be blessed, your cows, your livestock, your whatever it was you were asking to be blessed would be blessed because you took this cross and put it in, yeah. It's kind of cool. You turn it to the left, always to the left. You always have to make sure that when you turn it, you're turning it the right way. Because if you turn it the wrong way, the pattern comes off and then it doesn't work. Like the pattern just doesn't work. But you can see already the pattern I've got going. So And I did not realize, I've never done this before, just so you're aware. Because when I was growing up, we talked about doing arts and crafts, and this is a Catholic ceremony, or it's pagan and witchy, and therefore you don't need to have those pagan demon symbols around my house, blah, blah, blah. And when I got older, I was more interested in puppets and dolls. And one year for Halloween, we did make cornhusk dolls. Oh no, I'm losing control. I'm going to have to tie this off and do some more. Okay. Okay. No, one year for Halloween, we did this really cool thing where we made cornhusk dolls. And that was super. That's problematic. I'm going to have to. I apologize. We went and we got actual ears of corn. And we shucked the corn, but we made sure that we kept the husks and the leaves, because that's what the husks are, and the corn silk. And we took the husks and made shapes out of them, doll shapes. And then we Nutmeg, it is okay if she's not petting you.
I'm afraid of him.
I would be too. He attacks you every time you walk near him.
Yep.
Because he's crazy. Anyway, we would make corn husk dolls. And then we used the corn silk, the white stuff that comes off the actual ear of corn, and tried to make hair out of it, and that didn't work really well. But we drew on the dolls, and then we colored the corn silk into dresses. And I still have one somewhere. It's with my altar stuff, because the corn husks don't go bad.
Wait, really?
No, not really. It's kind of cool. All right, so then we turn it this way, and I'm going to try this again. I'm sorry if I'm ignoring anybody. And I'm not seeing anybody on YouTube, although it says I have 3 people watching me. So that would be nice if you commented and let me know you were there and I could talk to you instead of just babbling into my screen. I mean, I'll do that too, but you know, it is kind of normal at this point. I just kind of babble into the screen.
No, you babble just in general.
Yeah, I do.
That's what I was talking about.
I do. I babble in general. It helps the thinking process. All right. See, I think what I did was I turned to the right instead of the left, and that's the problem. Because I didn't have one going this way. Let me check my Facebook really quick. Nope. Yep. Okay. Oh, I have 2 moms joining me. So I have Amber and Candy. Hi, guys. I hope you are able to keep up. We're talking about Imbolc and fertility festivals and fertility rites and why I don't do that. Actually, I haven't gotten to that part yet. So I did not do myself the Imbolc ritual. I am doing this because it's arts and crafts and it's fun. But I no longer participate in the actual like calling down fertility gods, and that's just I'm past that. Yeah. So you guys can see I've got a cross forming there. This side kind of looks better. So then we shift it to the left. Oh, it gets stuck on the stick. To the left. Pull this red color out. I'm almost done with this craft, and then I'm going to tie it off and leave it there. So yeah, and when you drew the straw boys, you would hope that the boy you liked would leave the straw boy in your window, and you would leave the eye in his window or the cross in his window, and then maybe, you know, he would court you and you would be receptive and it would be a whole thing. And then if it wasn't, it wasn't, and you try it again. It's kind of how that works. That's why there's 3 fertility festivals in the year. I mean, but fertility festivals always come with warnings. Don't ask for things you're not prepared for. Don't try love spells. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Like I've said in many other talks about rituals and that kind of thing, don't do how do I say it? Don't dabble. Don't do something you're not absolutely sure it's what you want to do, because that causes problems. A lot of problems. Okay. So I'm kind of almost getting to a point where I'm done with this. And then we're going to move on to the other one, which should be a little quicker, I think. So it's just wrapping thread. But anyway, so for this fertility rite, you would leave out fresh milk, fresh eggs, especially if you were like looking to bless the livestock, you would leave out fresh milk and fresh eggs in the barn. Really anywhere you wanted the goddesses to visit and encourage fertility. And with most Celtic legends and fertility rites, it wasn't just like the fertility of like sexual fertility. I mean, that's always a component, but that's not the end all be all of fertility rituals. There was also the idea that you would want fertility for a business or fertility for some investment or project you're doing, because fertility to most everything is not just about having children, making babies. It's also about being productive and successful, which is kind of why I'm doing this part of the ritual, is I could use some luck in that field. All right, so now that we've got our little cross going here, we're going to go just tighten it up a little bit. So that's my cross. How do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it? This is where I really would like to have a third set of hands. Kai! I'm going to force myself to have a third set of hands here in just a minute. Liam! For those of you wondering, I have Liam because he's got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Paco! I don't think they can hear me. There's music and video games in the background. All right, fine. we will try very hard to do it the other way. Do not come apart. Do not come apart. Okay. Shoot. It's just this last strand. It wants very hard to fly apart on me, making it very difficult to hold everything else in place. Okay, so I'm just taking the ends of the strands. You can't see me. I'm just tying knots, very, very simple knots in these strands, and then I'm going to straighten it out. So all I did was pull it over and tie the knot, and this excess I'm going to end up cutting off. But that will okay. So we're going to come down here because this is the end with my stick in it. So we're going to come down here with the stick, and we're going to pull it around the stick and tie it off right at the end of the stick. That way I don't have to cut the stick. This is a straw. I could easily cut it. Not a big deal. But if you're using like craft sticks or whatever, it's harder to do. So that's two ends of my cross. And I kind of want them to be a little loose. And I'll show you why as soon as I get them all tied up. I'm going to do the other end with the stick first. Just pulling it into an actual ribbon, making it easier to tie, I hope. I have so much of this left, I don't know what to do with it now. But we'll see. Okay. Now, I'm going to tie this last bit off. And I might end up with a strand or two that just have a shorter end. That's okay, because perfection angers the gods. And nobody wants that in a fertility rite. Okay, so now that they're all loose, I could actually even pull my stick out. And then I have a loosely woven center of the eye. And traditionally it would hang like that and be much shorter. And like I said, these straws should be just a little more firm than I have here, but I'm okay with it. As my first attempt, I like it a lot. So here we go. Well, tell me what you guys think in the comments. Hi, Amy. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. I'm probably going to hang this up on my wall. So next week you'll see it hanging. Maybe if I hang it, it'll look better. Who knows? We'll see. So this is St. Bridget's cross. And this is what people would make. And they'd hang to ask for fertility. They would also hang it in their window just to get like attention from the powers that be. And that is the idea there. So this one is called God's Eye. And God's Eye, this one seems to be a little easier, otherwise known as Ojo de Dios, which means God's Eye in Spanish. Step 1. Now, traditionally, you would knot 2 sticks together with yarn so that the yarn doesn't come undone. I glued them. I bought Elmer's glue. Okay. Just clear Elmer's glue. And I held this together while I was putting other stuff together and looking up stuff. And it just sticks together. Okay. Okay. So that's what we did. And then you're going to yarn. I have 4 different colors. But my favorite one is the corrugated. So I'm probably going to just start with that. On a new piece of yarn and keep going. Okay. So we're going to try the corrugated. Sorry, I got really close. I know that. This is what my corrugated yarn looks like. It is blue and purple and white. And I'm going to blend that with this one, which is also blue and purple and white, just different shades. I think. I hope. They look darker. I don't know. I don't know why I said that, because it's not like I know. It's not a thing. Okay, so the idea is you wrap and you knot so the yarn doesn't go anywhere, which means I need to have more yarn. Okay, because I have to knot it. I don't know. It's the whole thing. Lots of knots involved in these crafts today. I'm sorry. I'm not a naughty person. Naughty. It's not what I meant. Not a knot making person. Okay, so we go clockwise because to go counterclockwise is not good. We don't go counterclockwise. We never ever go counterclockwise. Got here late, but I'm here. You have a second set of hands. I would love to have, I'm sorry, Apocalypse Mom. I was really wrapped up in that last craft. I'm very sorry. I would love to have a second set of hands. Oh, I did say a third set of hands, didn't I? That's, well, ideally I have my feet, but I wasn't using them, so you're right. That's good. Okay. Okay, so I know lots of people have done this craft. It's an outdoor school craft. It's a Girl Scout craft. This is not something I've done before. Traditionally, it's called a God's Eye. In Imbolc and the ancient Celts, it was actually called the Eye of Bridget. This is a thing. We talk a lot about certain religions just overrunning certain other religions. And that's okay, because we don't hold that against anybody anymore. So we are going to wrap this in the clockwise because that is creation, whereas counterclockwise is to take things apart. So we do things in clockwise manner for creation. So if I'm holding this and this is 12, then we wrap it 1, and then we wrap it, well, I guess we wrap it 3, and then we wrap it 6, and then we wrap it 9, and then we wrap it noon. Are there any questions there? I hope not, because that's where I'm at. So I kind of wrapped right in the middle because that's what it told me to do. So I'm going to wrap it 3. And then I think let me just check my directions. Like I said, I've never done this. Whew. Firmly in the end of the yard. Wrap the yarn clockwise. Just be consistent. Move on to the next stick and then wrap again. So we wrap, and then we move on to the next stick, and we wrap. We move on to the next stick, and then we wrap. Takes a lot. Okay, I think I got it. I think. Maybe. This is way more complicated than I expected it to be. Take me a minute to just like figure this out. Hey, it looks like the example I'm looking at, so that's good, right? Right. I'm all holding it down here so you guys can't see it. So it looks like the example I'm looking at, which is always a good thing. Okay. So this is also, the idea is that you decorate these and you hang them on your walls and you hang them in your house. And it's the idea that you know that throughout the coming year you are watched out for and you have blessings and that kind of thing. And I always thought this was going to be way harder than it is, and I don't know why I always thought it was harder than it is. I should have started with this one. This is easier to talk through. So there are lots of fertility festivals. There's lots of ways to celebrate Imbolc. You can literally just go out in nature and greet nature, plant seeds. There's a reason that a lot of people start their greenhouses in February, or just start clearing the path for growth in February. I think that's a marvelous way to celebrate. The reason we're not in my normal corner is we're doing some housekeeping because it's February. And we've got boxes of stuff that goes away and boxes of stuff I'm still unpacking and boxes of, I don't know what to do with this, but we don't necessarily want to get rid of it. Things. So, yeah. I wouldn't necessarily call it spring cleaning, but it is any difference between the in beliefs or affect behind the craft versus the other. Okay, so you got here a little late. The St. Bridget's Cross, or the Bridget's Eye, which is the first one I did. It's kind of messy. It is the idea of a matchmaking tool and actually asking Bridget, whether you believe her to be a goddess, a saint, some higher energy, power, whatever, you're asking for fertility, you're asking for growth, you're asking for newness in something. Traditionally, it is, like I said, it's matchmaking. So it's, I want this boy to like me. I'm outside his window, and hopefully he'll realize that it's mine and not Susie's or whatever. And this one is just basically you'd hang in the house or you'd give to friends, and you're asking for the powers that be, the Bridget in this case, because Imbolc is all about Bridget and it's not just Bridget. Please no. So Imbolc, the Celts have goddesses, like almost like the Hindi. Not 6,000, but close. So it's, you're asking one of the spring goddesses, because the Romans adopted this kind of Festival 2. And this my sticks are not strong enough, so it's gonna warp and weave, and that's okay. But so you're basically asking, if you don't wrap too tight, Kate, that doesn't happen. You're asking for whoever hangs this piece, like I would make these by the dozen and then gift them to people. And then I would be asking whichever deity or energy or whatever I called upon while making it to watch over that person, their household, their everything, whatever, and bring them luck and success in the spring and that level of fertility. Does that answer your question, Apocalypse Mom? Is that what you meant? She asked on YouTube, is there any difference in beliefs or effect behind this craft versus the other? So this one, yeah, like I said, this is more of a gifting thing. Whereas also the cross, St. Bridget's cross has been, there's weird scandal and controversy around it. And you know what I just realized? I'm super smart. I sat down here to do a craft with yarn. I don't have scissors. Super clever. Or anything sharp. Because they don't allow me sharp stuff, evidently. Yay, okay. She says that it did. So at this point, I would stop my craft where I want it. And then I'm going to loop one last time around the same one I just did and tie it off. When I tie it off, any kind of craft, I do my loop and then I pull through the loop a second time. And then this one, I'm just literally going to pop the yarn because yarn can do that. Then I'm going to pull it tight and make sure it hangs in back. And I might even tie this extra into the loop to hang it on. So that, oh, you guys can't see that, I'm sorry. So that it hangs like that. But I know that I had a friend in high school who used to make these all the time, and then she'd hand them out. And we were all like, thank you. And she would always tell us that it was a protection sigil, or it was the eye of the creation. She was very hippie pagan, bunny fur, new age, crystal wearing, you know. And when I was in school and delving into much darker things than I should have, I was very much okay. And now I wish I had listened way more to her and her mom. Because they were way smarter than I thought they were. But yeah, so that's how that'll hang. And eventually I will end up with craft sticks again and get firmer crafting tools and make a couple of these and maybe end up doing some for Christmas. So yeah. So that is my arts and crafts portion of this evening. What do you guys think? So Imbolc. This is super, super, I don't like how this ended. I have to fix this. I'm so sorry. It's starting to unwind on me, and I don't like that. So now that I've got it actually cut off, I'm going to fix it. I have a small crowd tonight. I'm going to lean back a little and try to make sure that I'm not out of camera. I have a small crowd tonight, and I'm surprised, but I've had quite the run on YouTube today. This is my 4th video up on YouTube today. And only one on Facebook, but that's okay. Today has been hard. Life is kind of going haha at me. And I don't like that part at all, but that's okay. I'll get through it. It's just a matter of maneuvering my world to make it so. I know that was super vague. I'm sorry, guys. All right. No. All right, so this was my final wrap here. I'm trying to keep it loose so that my pattern stays a little bit looser, but then I need it to tie here. So I'm going to make one more, maybe 2 more wraps. And then, yeah, feed this down through that one wrap and tighten it up. So for those of you, I was leaned way far back. I will undo it and do it again because I wasn't very good at showing you. So I wrapped, then I came up and I wrapped around, then I wrapped around a second time, then I wrapped around a third time and I held it. We wrap around one, okay, wait. Wrapped around the one time, wrapped around a second time, held it out further, wrapped around a third time, and maybe a fourth time just for good luck. And then I'm bringing it through the one I held out and bring it down so it tightens up. And that way it'll hang. Just a little there, maybe loosen it a little bit, play with the knot. But that's basically the idea, is that you'll knot it there, however is easiest for you to knot it. So Imbolc is super simple. It's not like Beltane. Beltane is in May, and it is the super, like, we're putting things in the ground. I need land to be fertile. I need my people to be fertile. I need babies to come of this. Super hyped up. This is where you get pagans dancing naked in the woods versus sacrificing people to trees, burning people alive in the Wicker Man. Kind of, that's Beltane. That's bad rap from a couple of bad stories. Imbolc is about growing and starting new and opening yourself to the idea that newness is happening. It is very common for Imbolc to be mostly about sex. Losing virginity, starting new projects, opening new doors. That's all very symbolic. And so it gets a bad rap for being hypersexual, and it's not where it's supposed to be. And that sort of thing. But that's not, it doesn't have to be that way if that's not how you intend it and that's not how you mean it. That's where that should go, like that, because this should be staggered. This one should go in there too, and that was wrapped around the original thing that's no longer there. So those are my crafts. And that is my talk on Imbolc, which is hard to pronounce and one of the shorter festivals. I mean, you can do a full call the corners, do the ritual, leave out the milk and eggs and crumbs and milk and grain. But it's just welcoming spring. It is acknowledging the change in the season and the reason for it and all of that involved. So that is what I have for this week. Next week, we're going to do trees. The week after that, we're going to do next week is trees. The week after is Valentine. St. Valentine, which I love. I love to do St. Valentine's. So, guys, I'm not done. Sorry for the voices in the background. So they should be fun. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, spread the message. Check out sideseat.webs.com. It is where you can find links to both of my channels and my written blog and my Not Safe for Work written blog that's on WordPress. I'm trying to collect everything there. It has a schedule on it for my updates, when everything's going to happen, what time things happen, and my schedule of what I'm going to talk about when. So, like, subscribe, tell your friends, boost the signal. Can't stop the signal, Mal. I have said that so many times today. I miss it. I miss Firefly. I'm going to make everybody in the house watch it. Okay. You guys have a great night, and I will see you very soon on Wednesday. That's the next time. I love you all.